Shri Ganesha Namaha. Om Shri Saraswati Namaha. Om Shri Guru Yo Namaha. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavada Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Graditam Murana Munina Bhatye Mahakritam Advaitamritavarshini Bhagavati Ashtadashaധ്യായിനി Amba Tvamanusandatami Bhagavad Gita Bhavatveshini Namostute Vyasa Vishana Buddhe Kullara Vindayata Netra Yena Tvaya Bharata Taila Purna Prajvalito Jnanamaya Pradipaha Prapanna Parijataya Totra Vitraika Panaye Jnanamudraya Krishnaya Gita Mritadunhe Namaha Sarvopanishado Gavo Dodha Gopalanandana Partho Vatsasudhir Bhoga Dugdham Gita Mritam Mahat Vasudev Vasutam Devam Vande Jagadguru Krishnam Vande Jagadguru Hari Om. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Krishna Kanhaiya Lal Ki Jai. Okay. Last week we got cut off a little bit, Zoom and on Facebook. So we have to pick up a little bit from where what we covered last week itself has to be re-seen. I don't know how much you would have caught and how much Facebook would have caught. Huh? So where we left off, I believe, was on verse 7. So we'll chant that verse, huh? And then we'll think a little bit about what's going on here. Verse 7 of chapter 1 of Bhagavad Gita. अस्माकं तु विशिष्टाये तानि बोध द्विजोत्तम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे नायका मम सैन्यस्य संज्ञाता कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण कन्हैया लाल की जय. All right. So what is going on here on the battlefield is a microcosm of what is going on in everybody's life. All of us are faced with a variety of different scenarios, but they have a common thread. What Arjuna was facing on the battlefield, in principle, is what you are facing right now in your own life. This is the thesis of Bhagavad Gita. And if you do a simple analysis, people all over the world, over all different times, have put words to the challenge. If you want to capture it in one phrase, Bhagavad Gita says the challenge of life is what we call as Dvandva Samsar. Samsar, a constant, unpredictable change, endless variety of movement and flux or chaos, you want to call in life. The things that we want to change, they don't change. And the things that we don't want to change, they change very quickly. Right from childhood, you have a best friend in your class in grade 1, and then they have to move to a different city. Huh? But the child who pesters you, well, he finds the loved ones and family members, we find ourselves, we have to move away from them and go to different places, and our journey in life takes us to different places. But the archetype of our difficult personalities that we meet, whether it be the gossiping one or the wicked one or the power-hungry one, they're everywhere. You leave this company because you think you have a bad boss and you feel you'll be free. And when you go to the next company, you realize you're the boss, but now all the employees are acting like you're a bad boss. Means what we don't want to change changes, and what we want to change doesn't change. So it is like an unpredictable chaos. You don't know when good things will end, and you don't know at what moment a bad thing might arise. And nature doesn't deliver soft blows. Nature delivers serious blows in the form of illness and loss and so many other types of things. So this samsara, which is on one side having change that we like, and on the other side change we don't like, that's the pairs of opposites, a complementary set, something we like and something we don't like, and all other related things we love and things we hate, friends and enemies, good days and bad days. That is what characterizes everybody's life. And if you just sit and do nothing, then that chaos, that change will consume life. It means to say, if you stop cleaning your room actively and deliberately every day, in a week, what state is it in? If you stop maintaining the house, those who live in cold countries know, if you don't shovel your snow immediately and you drive over top of it, what happens? A simple snowflake becomes a big mountain. You can't even get your car up a little, 15-degree slant. Here in cold countries, if you don't clean your drain on a regular, I mean, in warm countries, you don't clean the drain on a regular basis, then all kinds of problems come. You don't maintain the guttering, plumbing, ACs, like that. So if you do nothing, the chaos creeps in and just destroys, makes you paralyzed. So an active resistance to the what you want to call negative forces in life is required. And our journey is not just active resistance, although that is very much required because of the entropy built into the universe, the natural decadence of all things. We have to constantly stand up and put things back in order. But that whole exercise is cast in a big journey. Our job is not to fix the world, but to meander our way, find our way through this battlefield to our final destination. We have to cut out our path in all of this. And it is amazing how fast the world is changing. It requires deliberate time and effort and reflection to tune ourselves up back to our highest motives in the face of the changing world. That's why we come to satsang. What was happening last week in your life and what is happening today in your life is vastly different for many people. And again, we have to tune ourselves up and remember, okay, what is my goal and how am I going to get there, and observe new problems that arise from inside and out. Right. So the same thing is going on the battlefield. On one side, you have Pandavas. On one side, you have Kauravas. And the whole situation for the Pandavas has been like this. The change that they want to see is to finally have their life settled and have their kingdom and, share and be kings and bring prosperity to the land. And that cannot happen. At every instance since they were small, that stable situation, prosperous kingdom has been usurped, stolen, taken away from them. And the change that they want to see is they want to see all these evil people who are causing problems removed. And they don't go away. Finally, that now battle has come to a head. And what you have is the beginning scenes. This whole scene of the battle is being described. So we have to weave our way through this battlefield of change. For that, you're going to need guidance. And that is what the Bhagavad Gita serves for Arjuna, and that's what it's going to serve for us, right? The essential problem is a problem of choice. At every moment, you have to make a choice. To come here is to make a choice. To stay listening and not get distracted, that is a choice. In our heart, we have both Kauravas and Pandavas. We have thoughts that are on the side of dharma and thoughts that are on the side of adharma. Thoughts that are on the side of putting things right in life. And thoughts are on the side of that are against the flow of reality. To cause chaos and change and trick me into investing in false notions. So these are the two, and they're constantly battling it out, right? So Duryodhana now, having just in verses up until this point, just preceding verse 7, he listed all the great warriors on the Pandava side that he's seen. Now, he gets a little frightened on seeing that. The other side, which I mentioned twice or three times already, is less in number. So what he does, he now, to boost himself, he's going to recount his own side that we just chanted. What did he say? Now my army, I will tell you, speaking to Dronacharya. I will tell you, O Dronacharya. He calls him Dvijottama, best among the Bharatas, of the Brahmanas. And who are the leaders of my army? Mama Sainyasya. Sanyartham tan bravimite. For your recognition, your knowledge, I'm going to tell you about my army. And see, he calls it my army. He's a leader, but he will just, we will see, comes again. But the theme of Bhagavad Gita, as we mentioned in the very first class, is Mama Dharma. That is the first word of Bhagavad Gita and the last word put together. My Dharma. And opposed to that is my concern with all the other things. The thing we do not take up in life is my Dharma. We take up all other things as mine. So the mind, the misplaced minus, if you want to call it that, is essentially that which pulls the rug from under us, weakens us, keeps us bound, invites into our life all the change and chaos. It is a strange connection, and it's something for us to learn. The issue of minus, selfishness, is going to be the prime villain in our heroic journey towards happiness. And the leader on the wicked side, the Kauravas, he keeps using that word, mine, 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 my army, for my sake. Everything's happening for me. It is a simple observation that we can check in our own life. How many times when we recount the history of our past do we use the word me and mine? You will find on days you feel more sad, on days you feel more helpless, it comes up a lot. I'm concerned about my well-being. Throughout Bhagavad Gita, from every which way and every angle, this minus is tackled. In fact, there is no tradition like Sanatana Dharma that has spent more time and energy dealing with the durgunas of the heart, especially the selfishness. If you want to find a tradition that is going to lift humanity out of selfishness, which is the cause for so much fighting between countries and armies and families and political parties and children, and from every angle, you'll find the answers here in this tradition, because we have spent all our time on this issue of selfishness. For example, we are just teaching now at our summer camp, chapter 12 of Bhagavad Gita, and Bhagavan starts listing values there that make someone a great devotee, Jnani Bhakta. And right off the bat, Bhagavan says to give up hate and to be friendly to all people. Simple things like being friendly is a great antidote to selfishness. When Duryodhana says here, okay, let's look at my army, and later on he will say, all these people come to die for me. You think he considers any one of these people as his friends? He considers them like a boss. These are my employees. I pay them, so they need to do what I want. I'm a concern for their welfare. A friend is one who considers the other person's sorrow greater than theirs, correct or not? Your sorrow is more than my sorrow. So me and my issues become less. If a person cannot have that type of friendliness with others, well, selfishness has crept in even more. So minus, we observe in the character of Duryodhana, and we use it as a mirror for ourselves. What he's trying to do, see his method of inspiration. When he gets frightened by the change, when he gets frightened about his welfare, when the world, means the Pandavas on that side, are ready to fight with him, naturally, he gets, like all of us, frightened. I said that, right? So when that arises in his heart and he wants to motivate himself, he takes recourse to a whole set of things. And so this is the way not to motivate ourselves. What he does, first of all, I want to hear something nice. Tell me something nice about myself. Let me go on Facebook and scroll how many people like me and look at the comments. Because when life is hard, one man said to his wife, "Sweetie, tell me something soft and sweet now. I had a hard day at work." She turned to him and said, "Jub Jub." Jub Jub is that soft, sweet, gummy candy. Eh? So you want to hear something sweet? Jub Jub. Because it is a way for us, our ego, to escape reality and take refuge in minus. So this is the method he's going to use. Let me think about how much greatness I have, and then I'll feel better and ready to fight. Huh? So you know that when that technique is being used by you, that's a Duryodhana technique. Okay. He is also getting his motivation from dependence. He's not motivated because of his cause. He's not motivated because of some result in his life that he feels is very fulfilling and meaningful. That's not where he's getting his motivation. He is leaning on others. He depends on his army being bigger for his satisfaction and his peace of mind. So right away you have one army who is standing up against a bigger bully, and they're not leaning on numbers. They're leaning on the meaningfulness of their purpose. They're leaning on the fact that they are on the side of Bhagavan. And then you have the other enemy, Kauravas, who are leaning on the fact that they're currently in power and all that type of thing. The message is each one of us should try and become more and more independent. That's the message. And I see this every day. I grew up in a generation that knows about things like skip the dishes and instant delivery and now ChatGPT and calculators in school, right? And I constantly hear and smartphones and disposable restaurant food and disposable clothes and all types of what we call conveniences and technology. But a generation before who was doing math in their head and cooking all their own meals and growing their own food and using their chores as their exercise, that type of thing, they're far more independent. And the physical expression of independence is a sign of mental independence. It is not possible for someone to become dependent on social media, dependent on television for happiness, and also say, but no, but I just have this physical dependence, emotional dependence, but really I'm still an independent person. So it is good to, in any way possible, for us to be able to do it ourselves. And you wouldn't believe they're discovering now in psychology that when a person adopts responsibility voluntarily and does it themselves, it delivers a tremendous shot of dopamine. What we observe in little toddlers, no, mom, don't do my zipper. I want to do it myself. Don't feed me. I want to do it myself. Programmed to get satisfaction from being independent. That we have to encourage in toddlers, and we have to re-inspire it in ourselves. If your whole life you have not driven and you've been driven around, it is a great project to take up that, no, I will learn to drive for myself. I know many people who have told me that version of that story, and they say it feels so freeing to be independent. So part of our whole life journey constantly is to learn to be more and more independent, more and more independent. Means go a week without your phone. Learn how to do better mental math, whatever it might be. that is on the side of dharma. That is not on the side of Duryodhana, right? Adopt voluntarily some responsibility and do it yourself. This is a core tenet of good parenting and a core tenet of good emotional, clean, healthy, mental living, right? Okay. Then in verse 8, what happens? So he begins now. Previously, Duryodhana had spoken insultingly to his guru. Last class, I believe this part was streamed. He told his Duryodhana to try and motivate him. He insulted him. Again, that's his method of motivating others, right? Look how terrible look what a big mistake you made last time. Now make up for it, that kind of thing. So he tells Duryodhana, look at your shishya over there on the other side. You only trained Drishtadyumna, Drupada's son, and now he's chief of the battalion over there on that side. Now's your chance to make up for it, like that. Or he said, well, you'll see other things. Huh? So then he realized, well, that's no way to speak to your guru. Not that he is great guru bhakti, but something kicked in him, maybe some fear, or maybe cultural samskara, that I really tested my manners with Dronacharya. So now when he starts listing who is great, see this smartness in his words. Huh? Chant verse 8 and 9. Bhavan Bhishmascha Karnascha Kripat Kriprascha Samitin Jaya Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ashwatthama Karnascha Saumadhattistathaiva cha Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Anyecha Bhagava Shura Madharte Yakta Jivita Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Nana Shastra Praharana Sarve Yuddha Visharada Hare Krishna 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Krishna Kanhaiya Lal Ki Jai. So who does he list now as the great Shuraha, great warriors? First, Bhavan. You, O Duryodhana. Now, who is actually the greatest on that side? It is Bhishma. Bhishma Pitamaha, the great grandsire, grandfather, the eldest and most powerful, and son of Ganga, Bhishma, who could choose his time of death, is far and away the strongest and central warrior and figure on the whole Kaurava side. And everybody knows it. So if you're going to give a list of the great ones, like if you're going to list the great sportsmen, you put Michael Jordan at the beginning. So first he puts Dronacharya. That's a sign that he's trying to, butter him up. Mama guy. So that's Duryodhana for you, right? Second, he puts Bhishma, then Karna, Kripaha, who are all Samitinjayaha, all these people who are victorious in battle and invincible, right? We have all these invincible warriors on our side. Ashwatthama, Vikarna, Saumadatti, Tathaivacha. And similarly, he gives a list of more. But notice he lists in that Ashwatthama. No, remembering, see, Dronacharya is known from the story of having a real soft spot for his son. And enlisting him in the warriors at one and the same go, he is praising Dronacharya, appealing to his own mamatvam, his own mine is my son. Yeah, you listed my son also. He's also reminding Dronacharya, if you don't fight well, your son will die. So there's a kind of subliminal threat in all of that. This is Duryodhana for you, right? He lists Karna's name, who is equal to Arjuna in archery, but had made a vow that he's not going to fight for some time in the battle. As long as Bhima is standing, he said he won't fight. But still he lists him because he's trying to motivate himself, right? Right. So Duryodhana is that type of person who appeals to the lower qualities, the weaknesses in someone to try and control and motivate them. Then he adds, we chanted, Anye Bahava Shuraha, and many, many other warriors are here, Tyakta Jivitaha, who've already given up their lives. He's like discounting them. The way that is written is in the past tense. They're dead already for me. Madarte. For me, they have come to give up their lives. Now that is actually really going too far. All the warriors that have assembled there are on that side because they know Bhishma Pitamaha is there. If Bhishma said, I'm not going to fight with you, Duryodhana, you think all these other kings and all their warriors would have come there with any sort of enthusiasm that they might win? Not if Duryodhana is leading. So he totally looks past the very substratum of his support. And he thinks he's the one, and for them, they have all come, you know? That again shows his extreme love for his own welfare and his love for his own ego, such that it blinds him from obvious facts, like that. Basically, all he cares about is me. And he looks at everybody as an accessory towards that. And when he feels down, he boosts himself by thinking about himself. Nana Shastra Praharanaha Sarve Yuddha Visharadaha. All these people who are experts and skillful and valiant in war, with all of their various handheld weapons and missiles, are here. So he's reminding himself of all the strength of his side, right? Look at all the people who have come to support me. Now, there's a question you can ask. Well, why would Duryodhana feel any fear in his heart at seeing the Pandava army? Already, the numbers are 11 battalions to 7. 11 Akshauhanis to 7 Akshauhanis. So he has numbers. He has strength in warriors. First and foremost, Bhishma is on his side. Dronacharya is the guru of Arjuna. So in Guyanese language, he have Arjuna Dadi. Why would he be worried about Arjuna? Right? There's no reason to be scared. But it reveals something that everybody, atheist, egotistical, whoever you might be, has an innate, deep-seated, irremovable respect for the divine, or you want to say for some higher power. When all things are good, they may not show it, but when things get bad, it comes out. Some fear is there that they're on the side of righteousness, they're on the side of Bhagavan, and that is gnawing at him, although he has the numbers and everything else. That is a principle in the universe. So it reveals that about us. We may feel that, no, I don't have any respect or love or concern for Bhagavan. low. But if even Duryodhana can demonstrate that here through fear, what more us? We will have respect for Bhagavan. It is there, built into every heart. Huh? What a person prioritizes at any given moment shows what their value structure is. And those who have not spent time in satsang, not spent time reflecting, they have a value structure that is kind of branched, and their priorities are always confused. Like one man was in line at the airport to check in, and he was a grumpy man, right? Always quick to get angry. So as it happens, always somebody bumped him with the suitcase from behind. Quickly, he turned around in anger, ready to blast. He was on blast mode. But when he turned around, he was just at the man's stomach. He had to look up like this. And what he saw was a huge, like, warrior-sized man there. And all the anger drained from his face. When he turned around, he said, "Who did that?" And then he looked up. And the man looked down and said, "Yes." He said, "I just wanted to know if I was in somebody's way, let me move this a bit for you." So the priorities change on a dime. Totally hypocritical. Like that. Most people live like that. So it's through satsang, we find out really what it is that I value. And really all people value the Lord. They value the most powerful thing. And integrate our rest of our desires. All that happens in satsang. But don't think people who talk like this. There's a whole generation coming out now who feel like everything is negotiable. Whether you believe in God, whether it's important, what your values are, all of it can change. This speaks to them. Finally, when the food... See, some people say, all I think about is eat, drink, and be merry. But they don't think, how will they be when the food runs out and the drink runs out? Then what? So they'll still be there, and their priorities will suddenly change. So those priorities are already inside. To know what they are and live in an integrated way is the call of a spiritual life, a healthy life, a progressive life. One should tell the truth about what they worship and what they value. This is the main message there, right? So he doesn't recognize all this thing going on in his heart, Duryodhana, and now fear has arisen. Where he could have faith in Bhagavan, there is a void. And fear has entered where faith is missing. Or put another way, where Shraddha is missing, Shankha has come. Where faith is missing, doubt, confusion has arisen. That happens to everybody. Yes. So to fill that void, born of wrong thinking and not knowing what's going on inside, he goes on trying to boost himself. What we have to do is, when that happens to us, and it will, the thing we should do is try and check, am I on the side of righteousness? Am I on the side of dharma? Am I on the side of Bhagavan? And remove your fear that way. And that is the true way to remove such doubts and fears that arise in our heart. You have to give him marks for trying to boost himself, at least. At least when he's facing the sorrow, he's okay, let me not go looking to Netflix for support. I'm going to boost my own self. So give him marks for that level of type of approach. He's trying to help himself by himself, but doing it the wrong way. It is not a small point at all that one side of the battle is on the side of the Lord. That has to be highlighted, that essential point. And those who are not on that side, they're not going to win. There is a wonderful reason behind why Bharat has put Satyameva Jayate on there. A very emblem. The very emblem has that. Just Bhagavan's presence alone, his presence alone, not his army, was enough to turn the tides. In the same way, scriptures go on telling, just the name and remembrance of the Lord alone is enough to change the tides in our life. Don't discount the simple presence of Bhagavan in your thoughts. So we have this in our tradition. We put up pictures of the Lord everywhere. It's coming from this message. Make sure your mind is on the right side. Then life will work out. The Satyameva Jayate. Okay. The other thing leadership point from this is that a great leader never feels that everything is happening because of me, for me, madarte. It is a sign of terrible, destructive, if you want to use the word, modern word, toxic leadership. Selfishness in a leader is destructive and toxic. And our tradition has put as the leaders the rishis. And their most, one of the most obvious characteristics about them is selflessness. You take our Tapovanji Maharaj or our Puja Gurudev. Tapovanji Maharaj is living in the Himalayas with nothing. A simple jhopri house like. And wants nothing from anybody. Puja Swami Chinmayananda ji goes to learn this knowledge from him. And afterwards, like all rishis past, it's now time. No, I can't teach you anything more. I have taught you what I know. Humbly, now get lost. Go from here. I don't want you to stick with me and say I'm a great teacher and send more people this way and build a big ashram in my... Nothing. Puja Gurudev also wanted nothing from the world. Lived his life in service of the Guru. And around him, the whole ashram came. These are the type of heroes we have in our tradition. So the more you and I can live up to that, especially in a leadership context, the more we will be carrying the torch of Sanatana Dharma. If you have people below you, please put their welfare first, seeking nothing in return. And things will work out wonderfully. This is the message. What type of leader you want to be. Then Bhagavan has to now, it's not that Arjuna, see Duryodhana, we're seeing all his selfishness. Dhritarashtra, we spent a couple classes, we mentioned his selfishness. We haven't seen Arjuna's selfishness yet, but Arjuna just has this exact same problem of mamatvam, minus, as the other characters. And of all of these leaders, the king, the leader on the Kaurava side, the leader on the Pandava side, right? Lord Krishna, of all of the different leaders, he removes selfishness from the heart of Arjuna. Previously, before the battle, he removed selfishness from the heart of Yudhishthira also. So, those who are on the side of the Lord find satsang coming to them to help them in all different forms. That's one point. Also, Bhagavan is choosing this essential moment where Veda Vyasa is going to scribe in poetry and Sanskrit meter the conversation that's going to happen there, because he is also going to remove the selfishness from all of our hearts. Nimitti Kritya, using Arjuna as an example or as an instrument. Bhagavan is going through Bhagavad Gita to remove selfishness from my heart also. So this is what happens on the side of the good. We fall, we have the same weaknesses as everybody else, but because we have put Bhagavan as our guide, our mentor, because we have decided to take up this journey of righteousness. He will clean selfishness from our heart. How he's going to do it, we will see as the chapters proceed. Okay. In Ramayana, you find the same thing. Hanumanji demonstrates how selfishness is removed through Rama Kaj. But we'll see as we go along. Now, let us chant a few verses straight, maybe 10 and, well, let's just do 10 first, and then we'll see, yeah? We missed a verse? Did we miss a verse? Verse 9? No, we chanted that, yeah? Yes, sorry. Let us begin again. Shri Krishna Sharanam Pariya Vitume Palam Imavira Shritam Shri Krishna Sharanam Shri Krishna Sharanam Shri Krishna Sharanam Shri Krishna Sharanam. He says now, basically, our army protected by Bhishma is unlimited, whereas countless, and their army, although it is protected by Bhima, is limited. They have a smaller army than we do. This much he is saying. There is a second reading of that, of the words pariyaptam and apariyaptam in the opposite way. Our army is insufficient, apariyaptam, and theirs is sufficient. So there are hints in the choice of words of his underlying fear. That's what it means. The other point in this is Duryodhana is taking recourse to numbers. This is a very common thing that all people do. Well, how many degrees do I have? How young am I? How fit am I? They use all kinds of various measures to determine success, future greatness, all that type of thing, right? But finally, none of those things are the measures that we should focus on. Though we might not have the numbers or the accolades or the education or the youth or the time or the wits that others have. Finally, our success doesn't depend on those things. It depends on our alignment with truth, our alignment with Bhagavan, our alignment with what is meaningful in life, our goodness. This is the core message that has to be brought out, right? The scriptures explain that if you have to put a pound of feathers on one side of a scale and a pound of gold on the other side of the scale will be balanced. But visually, what will you see? A pound of feathers is a big bag of feathers, isn't it? It's a lot in volume. And a pound of gold relatively is a small thing. So by virtue of the quality, significance, weight of the good, it can outdo a whole amount of bad. Like that. Swalpamapyasya dharmasya. Just a little bit of this dharmic practice taught in this book for humanity is enough to remove so much fear. That itself is taught in Bhagavad Gita. So even though the world, in terms of, say, numbers, doesn't believe that we're on the right path, we must know what path we're on and have confidence in that. History is replete with examples of inventors and adventurers and explorers. Christopher Columbus, an Italian, had to get a ship from a different country because even his own king thought the world was flat. Like that. So don't think so people look at it like Duryodhana. Well, I have all the accolades, I'll be successful. Children think I have a new backpack and new sneakers and a new protractor case. This year will be the best. Numbers don't matter. The child who comes with no backpack and no shoes and no protractor, he can far excel. So, and then people have it the other way also. I'm too old. I'm unfit. I'm too far behind. I failed too many times in the past. I'm outmatched. I'm too ugly. My mind is too fickle. People have these types of thoughts. But just look now. Sudama had to go a long distance to meet Lord Krishna. He was too far away for his frail body to make the journey. But what happened? He sat down and found himself in front of the palace. Jatayu was outmatched by Ravana. And certainly he lost the battle. But his side won the war and he got mukti. Hanumanji says, who's more ugly than me? A monkey. And look what place Lord Ram has given me. If you're worried about how you look. If you feel your mind is too fickle. Who did Bhagavan choose as his army? Not an army of monkeys? They also could serve and win against Ravana, who conquered Devatas. Essential thing is what side we are on. What flag do we carry? What do we identify with? That is essential for success in life. Duryodhana doesn't know that. He takes recourse to, look how big our army is. Then, in the next verse, Duryodhana himself suddenly realized, what am I talking? Aparyaptam, our side is insufficient. I'm showing my nervousness in my words. So he overcomes it another way now by giving a command. He now tells his whole army. What he tells? You'll have to tell tomorrow because our time is gone, I realize. Okay, we pick up from here. Time has flown. We pick up from here next week. A few announcements. Chinmay Mission offers a wonderful opportunity to learn the scriptures properly. A 2-year residential Vedanta course. And it used to be that anyone who wanted to go and learn the scriptures and learn Sanskrit and not just get knowledge, bits and pieces, but understand thoroughly and make sure their life is guided by that. Those type of individuals who want to learn for the right reasons and put in the time and effort. You used to have to go to Bharat for that. You have to go to India. But we are so grateful for the selfless work of our Swamijis that we have now in Trinidad such a Vedanta course. So those who are in the Caribbean just have to take a short flight to Trinidad, like from Guyana, for instance, and you could study the scriptures properly in a structured manner, the result of which your life forever will be changed and guided by the scriptures. And if you're interested in this sort of life of teaching, brahmacharya, sannyas, that is also available then in Chinmay Mission. But those types of individuals, that course is starting in October, just now. It is a rigorous course, meaning to say you get up at 5, your first class is at 5:30, not get up. And your last class ends at this time. And that goes for 2 years, no breaks, no holidays. And there's no going home on the weekends or any Diwali party or anything. It is just every day, same schedule, 7 days a week for 2 years. You could leave the ashram and go home and visit, but you just can't come back. It is a strict program. But for those who are interested, you can apply. And if you are admitted, it is a scholarship course. Just like how the rishis offered all of this knowledge without asking anything in return, Chinmay Mission upholds that tradition. And various individuals work so that others can be educated. They may not be able to attend the course, but they make sure they donate food, this, that, so others can be educated. So you get a scholarship to be there at that course. So I encourage everybody to do that course, although not everybody can. Those who are 30 and under have a degree and also are unmarried are only the ones who are qualified for such a course in Chinmay Mission. If you're over 30 or married or don't have a degree, well then Chinmay Mission has so many other opportunities to learn. If you're young, you come 3 weeks camp, or we have 6 months camp, or 1 week camp, or different versions of courses, online courses. So other things are there for others. But I strongly encourage, please spread the word, tell people about this wonderful opportunity. There's nothing like it. And it is life-changing. Okay, so we'll leave it here. Also, actually, Chinmay Mission Summer Camp is still open for registration if anybody wants to come for the second week from Monday, or the last week also, they can join. So please spread the word. The children who are here are loving it. And every day people are coming and then they're telling us, they're feeling I wish I was here from the beginning. So please spread the word. Don't miss the opportunity. It is all about Bhagavad Gita chapter 12. And immersive. An immersive experience cannot be captured in a 1-hour session. Immersive for 3 weeks. Wonderful. Okay. Those are the major announcements. We'll do closing prayer and then we'll see each other next week. Oh, reminder, we are studying Bhagavad Gita, and you will not find a wonderful English commentary like this. This has both chapter 1, chapter 2, and explanation of Gita Dhyanam, and all the chapters are available. I encourage everybody to get a copy for your own study and review. The whole introduction to whole Mahabharata also in this small little text. They're not very expensive, and they're available here in Chinmay Mission Guyana, in West Coast also in the Sarjam, and also in Essequibo. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om Shri Sadgurunath Maharaj Ki Jai. हर हर नम पार्वती पतये हर हर Mahadev. All right. So now we'll just have questions from anyone who's on Zoom. Interactive time. Hari Om, everyone who's on Facebook. Any questions or comments? All right. See everybody soon. Next week or sooner. Hari Om.